This video, we're going to take a look at multiplying fractions. So multiplying fractions is always just a really good skill and an always good refresher whenever you're getting into any sort of math class. Like you always want to kind of go back and just review multiplying fractions, dividing fractions, adding, subtracting fractions, just to make yourself a little bit quicker on your toes when you're given these types of scenarios, because we don't always want to rely just on our calculators. We want to be able to just go through some of these problems without having to worry about typing buttons in our calculator. So multiplying fractions. So if I have a fraction a over b, and I'm multiplying that by c over d. There's a couple different ways you could do this. You could do it, first way is just multiplying across the top, a times c, and then multiplying across the bottom, b times d. Now what then you'd have to do after that is simplify. That could be difficult at times because let's just say like this problem on number 3 here, I'm not going to do it just yet, but if I had negative 18 over 5 times 25 over 27, if I just did that, negative 18 times 25, like that's going to be a little bit difficult. 5 times 27, that's going to be a little bit difficult. And then I have to simplify that fraction down. That could be a little bit tough. So here's what I would suggest. Before you multiply, simplify first and then multiply. And simplifying, what you can do, since it's a multiplication question, you can just look for terms that can be simplified. So if I had something like this, like a 2 over 3 times 1 over 4, like that, I could simplify the 2 and the 4. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 twice. So now I have a much more manageable multiplication problem. 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 2 is 6, 1/6. Rather than doing 2 times 1 is 2, over 3 times 4 is 12, 2 over 12. And I know that's not extremely difficult, but just imagine that on a scale of 18 over 25, 18 over 5 times 25 over 27. You can imagine that getting a little bit more difficult. So that's why I would encourage you to simplify and then multiply. So let's take a look. Number 1, I have 2 over 15 times 5 over 13. So what you want to look for is you want to see, does 2 go into 15, 2 go into 13, or does it have a number that goes into both 2 and 15 or 2 and 13? You know, when we try to break it down by a common factor. And in this case, 2 does not go into 15, 2 does not go into 13. There is no number that goes into both 2 and any of those, so nothing to do there. 5 and 15 or 5 and 13, 5 does go into 15. So here's what I'm thinking about. Since 5 goes into 15, I want to divide 5 by 5. And I want to divide 15 by 5. So what that ends up being is 2 over times something over 13. So now let's talk about this part. So 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then 15 divided by 5 is 3, or 5 goes into 15 3 times. That's how I like to think about it. Is if I'm simplifying 5 and 15, I just think 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 15 3 times. Done. And then after that, always double check. There's nothing else that I can simplify. 2 does not go into 3, 2 does not go into 13. So I'm going to just multiply across the top now. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 13 is 39. So we get 2 over 39. And the second one, 3 over 8 times 7 over 9. So here, 3 goes into 8. No, it does not. 3 go into 9. Yes, 3 does go into 9. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So again, what I did is I did 3 divided by 3, which is 1. And then I did 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So that's where I'm getting the 1 and 3 from. And then I have a 7 over here. 7 does not go into 8. 7 does not go into 3. There is no number that goes into both 7 and 3 or 7 and 8. So I would just now multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. So 1 times 7 is 7. And 8 times 3 is 24. So 7 over 24. Number 3, negative 18 over 5 times 25 over 27. So this is the one I've been pointing at already. We have 18 and 27. 18 does not go into 27. But think about this for a second. 18 does not go into 27. Is there any number that goes into both 18 and 27? So think about that. 18 and 27. And that's 9. 9 goes into 18, 9 goes into 27. So in that case, what I'm doing here is I'm doing 18 divided by 9 and 27 divided by 9. I'm dividing both of those numbers by 9 because 9 goes into 18 and 9 goes into 27. And then down here for the 5 and 25, 5 goes into 5, and 5 goes into 25. So I'm going to simplify that real quick. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 25 5 times. Because I think that's a little bit more straightforward than the 18 and 27. But 18 and 27, you got to think about a little bit. Because 18 does not go into 27. But there is a factor that goes into both 18 and 27, and that's 9. So on the top left, 18 divided by 9 is 2. And that negative is just going to stay there. If I had a negative on bottom somewhere, I could simplify that down. But just don't stress out about the negative. So it's going to be negative 2 over 1 times 20 times 5 over 9. Because, again, 5 goes in 25 5 times. And then 27, not 9, excuse me. 27 divided by 9 is 3. Sorry about that. That's 3. 27 divided by 9 is 3. So then I have negative 2 times 5, which is negative 10 over 3. And then always just double check. Make sure, like, is there any more simplifying I could have done? Like 2 and 3, 5 and 3, 10 divided by 3, nothing else divides. So then there you go. So that one wasn't as straightforward because we had to worry about that 18 and 27. Let's take a look at number 4. I have 25 over 9 times 1/3. So here, the 3 and the 9 look tempting, right? Like you see, oh, 3 and 9, that's got to work out, right? Because 3 goes into 9. The 3 is in the denominator, and so is the 9. So 3 is in the denominator, 9 is in the denominator, so I cannot simplify those at all. There's nothing I could simplify, so I'm just going to do 25 times 1, which is 25. 9 times 3, which is 27. So I get 25 over 27. And then last two, we have negative 8 divided by 9 times 3/4. So what can we simplify? Well, I have 4 and 8. I have 3 and 9. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 8 two times. So that's a clean simplification there. And then 3 goes into 9. So 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 3 times 1 is 3. So negative 2/3. Then last, so on this last one, I have a negative and a negative. Negative times a negative, so that's going to be a positive. I have 5 into 15. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And then 7 and 28. 7 goes into 7 once. 7 goes into 28 4 times. So those are going to simplify. And then now, again, negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3, so we get 4/3. And if you want to convert that to a mixed fraction, you can, but I'm going to leave it as is. So you get 4/3 there. So when you are multiplying fractions, trying to show you some examples here where simplifying in the beginning can really help you out, make things a lot easier. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of some confidence and some information on multiplying fractions.